What inspires me about the place is that if you look really carefully, there are layers of history to it. So if I think back, or if you listen to older people in the town, they talk about how wild the place was in the 60s and 70s. And then the very old people can remember the fisheries as they were, after the Second World War. And then if you read further back, or if you look around yourself carefully, there's obviously all that colonial history. And then somewhere under that, there's the sealers and whalers who essentially lived in anarchy in the 1830s. And somewhere way beyond them, there's the Indigenous history of the place. And there are little remnants of each of those things under your feet all day long. If you walk along the coast, you see middens, and they're just lying there. They're there to look at. And you're looking back at 8, 10, 15,000 years of history. And then if you go down to the river, there's bottles in the mud that came from the 1850s, and the architecture tells you about the Victorian era, and every other phase of Port Fairy's history is right there, visible in front of you, which I reckon is a really inspiring thing, that the town has depth. The more you look, the more it's prepared to offer you. It's a great place to be a writer because you can work in the front room of your house like lots of writers do, or you can pick up your things and walk down the street, and you can sit on a rock and watch the ocean. You can go and sit in the cafes, and you have to move between cafes because they get used to you after a while. But there are so many different perspectives to sort of get you going and to think about. And the other practical aspect of it is that the town is very supportive of writers. It's supportive of creative people generally. People make music together, there are writing groups. There's a lot of interest and pride in what people produce. So if you go down the street and look in the front window of the supermarket, it's crammed with posters about somebody made this, or somebody's exhibiting that, or the kids are going to put on a performance of this other thing. It's the town saying, hey, look what we're doing. It's really interesting at the moment.